Well, it has been a hot minute. There has been a lot going on in the world of RTS, in the world of Broken Arrow. There's been lots of busy days, whether they be IRL, doing important schoolwork, doing important doctor stuff, doing watching movies, and riding motorcycles. You guys can go ahead and guess which of us were doing that and which of us was doing the other thing. But
Someone's been inside all day. I've been doing all of them.
yeah, I don't go outside very often. I'm working on it
Yep.
though. I'm actually gonna go
He's
play
not allowed
hockey.
outside without supervision.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go play hockey today, actually, in a few hours here.
Oh,
So
nice.
busy
Don't need a
schedule.
puck.
Busy. Yeah, definitely don't want to do that again. But apologies, ladies and gents. Our schedules do not mix, but we do have an interesting dynamic here. Bolt and I do play the game very differently. We have very different perspectives and opinions on these things. It's just that, and we have known each other for a very long time, so it makes it easy to be able to communicate, no matter the communication, no matter the discussion, no matter the heat of whatever we're discussing. At the end of the day, we still say, all right, talk to you later, bro. Like, it's still, we're still able to have very interesting discussions on this. So we're going to keep the podcast going as much as we can. But just a heads up, it is possible that there's going to be some episodes in the future that is either just Bolt and somebody else, or just me and somebody else, or maybe multiple other people. But we all obviously keep it, RTS related. It's just that our schedules don't mix very well. But we would very much like to keep this going. So if you guys have some ideas,
If I do more interviews or whatever, we'll just post them here as well.
yeah, we'll just keep it going in general. This is the long form thing that both of us have in the RTS world, basically, and especially around Broken Arrow. So we'll just keep it going that way. If you guys listening have any other ideas, if you guys have some topics that you may want to hear us talk about, we'll try and keep that going as well. But generally speaking, also, I noticed somebody commented, quick distraction, somebody commented on one of my videos the other day saying that your favorite word is easily generally speaking. And after recording the How to Russia and the How to US video, they're absolutely fucking right. I can't stop saying generally speaking, but it's like, it's too effective at just trying to get to the point. There's hundreds of units in this game. All of them have their way of being used in so many different various ways. It's like, you got to sum it up some way, right? If somebody's newer to the game, and maybe if you guys want to comment on this, if you want to give your impression on this, do you guys like the extra detail on things, or do you want the generally speaking? Because I think if you go way too into detail about everything, it's just information overload. There's just too much going on. So anyway, that's that. So we're going to get into details of that, but luckily we have our very first actual balance patch. Real balance understanding, a real balance explanation from the devs. Did we get a date? Absolutely fucking not. I would like to put it out there that for those that don't know, I have a lot of experience. I have a lot of time tracking and covering news for particular Russian developed game over the last 6 or 7 years. The way that they go about doing things, I thought maybe it was a BSG thing. I'm starting to understand it is a Russian thing. It is
Is it also like small dev team thing?
Oh, there's definitely certain things that are absolutely like with a small dev team. There's certain things that will happen, and that is almost certainly with the amount of content. There's a shoot, what's the word? There's a bottleneck. There is a limit that a certain person with 2 hands and 1 brain can do. That a specific person with 2 hands and 1 brain can do. And we've seen plenty of projects, whether it be Manor Lords, we've got Road to Vostok. There's plenty of games out there that are fucking fantastic. That is like 1 person to a few people. I think what we are seeing here, it seems like I'm getting a lot of correlations, if that's the right word here. There's a lot of overlap of what I am seeing in terms of speech and understanding and just way of doing things between these Russian developers with Steel Balalaika and BSG with Tarkov. And generally speaking, the best way to put it is, if they give you a time frame, It's not a time frame. It's them saying they are planning on releasing at that time. That is not a date to you. That is you hearing them saying they want to release at that time. If it is a Russian developer, again, that is not a date. And that's a full stop. Hopefully I'm making some sense there. So they think it's a good idea to plan to release that thing at that time. It is not releasing at that time. That is not what is going to happen. So if they say June is June 30th, and then the rest of July. I actually forget if there's a 31st in June or whatever. But if they say a month, it is the last 2 days of that month, and then half of the next month. That is what the actual time frame is. And they didn't even give us one here. So we'll see when this ends up happening. But generally speaking, Bolt, I'm just going to go ahead and hit you with it. Have you read the thing yet? Have you read it through?
Yeah, I read it when
Okay.
you noticed or messaged me about it.
Okay. My general understanding on this is negative. I think that they do not actually understand what is what and the effects of these changes. I'm going to do what I can to talk to who I can. However, when it comes to balance, when it comes to specific ways of playing the game, most of the time it falls on deaf ears on my end. Most people don't understand, especially if they have some time in game. Most of you guys and the developers in particular don't understand what I am trying to say and don't understand my point of view when I talk about these units in certain ways. A quick tangent, a quick shameless plug on that end. Well, it's not really a plug because I'm not making content on this, but I have started to coach about a dozen or so people, and we've started to have some breakthroughs. People that started at like 800 elo are now 16, 17 after just a couple of weeks. And just after a couple of coaching sessions with them, they immediately found significant success. And it's just a couple of the most basic things. Like what do you actually focus on? What actually makes you successful in the game? What actually wins the game for your team? It's very clear things that get you to that point. And then the units that you are using, dependent on that faction, must be used in a certain way. So understanding that takes hours. The first coaching session I had with 5 people, I literally sat in this chair and talked the exact same like cadence that I've been talking for the last few minutes here for 12 hours.
Damn.
We stopped because I almost lost my voice. And they actually stayed awake, and several of those guys, and one girl, surprisingly, actually are now becoming very successful within the game. Now, they're not what I would call good players. So there's that layer that we need to address. But I think it's also beneficial that even players that are not necessarily good at the game can still find success within this. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep it behind the scenes. I'm going to keep coaching. I'm going to keep helping on that end. And then I will continue to gather information based off of what you and your community are doing. Jack and his guys are doing, Pius and his guys, which when I say Pius, those are like the elite. Those are like the tryhards, basically. Those are the top level guys. See what they are doing. And then I will make adjustments when required. So far, I haven't needed to make any adjustments at all. So it's fine. I'm finding out that what I have found now several weeks ago is still tracking and is still pertinent. But what's not is if they end up making some significant changes to some of these specific things. So in general,
I mean, that is bound to happen, right?
Of course.
Some
100%.
changes will change, yeah.
100%. Which is, I'm curious when exactly this is going to be happening. So am I going to get my how-to US video done, and then maybe even get all the way to my my tag system gameplay, which actually, now that I actually have put those words out of my mouth, this has no effect on the tag system. Like, the way to play the game is not going to change with this. The units that you bring absolutely will change. But luckily, the tag system is good. I might need to redo my how-to Russia video. I think I'm just going to send it. I literally finished recording an hour ago my how-to US video. I just haven't started editing it yet, so that's going to take some time. But generally speaking, again, favorite word there, I'm quite negative on the balance changes that I've seen, and the rest is like obvious. Of course they're doing the anti-cheat stuff. Of course they need to address the cheaters.
Yeah.
I'm happy that they're doing the surrender. Have you messed with the solo queue very much?
Yeah, I've done a couple solo queues. I mean, I've had decent experience with it. It's
You
just the
have.
communication is, yeah. I mean, I don't do them often, but the ones I did, they were not bad. I match with like equal level players.
Got it.
Some of them, sometimes they type, sometimes they don't, but maybe it's also, mid elo might have more issues than relatively higher elo, but sometimes you're just matched with a mixed team and yeah, then it's a shitty experience. But most of the time I've been doing okay-ish.
It just now hit me that I think the majority of my woes for the solo queue is based
Mhm.
off time. So I'm
Right.
obviously, I wake up, I have my plan for the day, I have my stuff that I want to edit, I have my stuff that I want to record, and then when I
Yeah.
find free time or when I make free time, and just to just play the game or get specific gameplay, it's later in the day for me, which is I'm US East. So I think it just seems like the EU crowd for normal hours for EU are just generally speaking better than what I find in the
Yeah.
US or
You might have to play at
Pacific
midnight
region.
or so.
Yeah, that's actually I think that's actually a significant contributor to my solo queue woes now that I think about it. And now obviously I've had plenty of bad games. In fact, I had one this morning that was regular time for EU that was
Mhm.
horrible. But it's the specific the specifics of that is stuff that we're going to get into. Um, it's not a topic for today with you and me. It's actually something we've discussed before with how I think they should be treating new players. Um, but let's get to the topic at hand. And we'll try and stay on track on here because, like we said, our schedules are pretty tight these days. We got to keep it. We got to keep it
Speaking of
on track.
schedule, my dinner is ready, so I'm gonna be gone for like 15 minutes max.
Oh, you're just gonna go mid episode?
Yeah, well, if you just put a wait, are you streaming right now?
No, I recorded. So do you just want to
Okay,
pause?
okay.
You want to
Yeah,
pause?
just
Okay.
give me like yeah, just pause it. Give me like
Okay.
10 minutes most. I'll just
Okay.
inhale it real quick.
Okay. All right. Unpaused here. So answered a bunch of questions, answered a bunch of comments. I think that a lot of people put this game's dying on way too many things way too quickly these days, especially an RTS game. So Wargame and Warno had what? They had a couple thousand people playing it any given day for years. It's just that's the size of the community. Now, the modding in general is what sustains an RTS game. And the reason why they're not letting people mod right now is because they don't want to open the floodgates for cheaters. But at this point, I'm curious. You're here, right? You listening? All good?
Yep.
Okay. I'm curious if they open the floodgates with modding and then let the cheaters just do their thing on official servers, let those go to shit. But everybody that wants to mod the game and take their own perspective of the way the game should be balanced, if they let that happen, I think that those servers that are also ideally going to be moderated and can be controlled, what's the word? Well, moderated, can be run by their own community, doesn't even need to be people from the developers themselves or people from Slytherin or whatever. They moderate, they do their own thing, and then those become thriving communities that can do their own thing and take their own perspective into account. Like if people want infantry to be powerful, go ahead and do it. Mod your own servers. This is the infantry mod. People want to do a 40k mod. This is the 40k stuff. Well, obviously that's going to take a lot of time, but they want the US to be actually realistic. Okay, this is the realism mod, or this is the proper balance, and do it all that other stuff. What's your perspective on that? Since this is topical because they talked about the anti-cheat.
I think in terms of like balancing and modding and new content and people saying the game will die if there's no new content. I mean, sure, but there have been other RTS games where mods have been immediately a thing, or the game had enough content in the beginning not to rely on mods. Eventually, it does rely on mods to stay alive, such as Manowar Assault Squad 2, which had really cool single player made by the game itself, but the modding is what kept people coming for it.
Mm-hmm.
I think in terms of games like Broken Arrow, modding won't do enough to keep people there. There will be cool scenarios.
Really?
But based on based on my experience with Warno modding, because people have adjusted unit stats and whatever, how they act. Um, it doesn't really get played much. People, that involves you downloading the mod and only being able to play with other people that have that same exact mod or scenario. It doesn't really help
Are you
unless
gonna
it's
be
a
able to?
very
Can you keep your train of thought if I cut in real quick?
yeah, sure.
So I saw that plenty of. I even saw a 40k mod for Warno.
Mhm.
But my general disdain for the game made me
No one plays.
completely just I didn't care. I
No
fucking
one plays
love
the mods.
40k. I love the obviously with Broken Arrow and Wargame. I love the kind of shoot, what is it? It's almost its own genre, right? With the deck building kind of thing.
Sure. Yeah.
I obviously love that, but I just don't like Warno. So even when
Mhm.
something great came out, like that 40k mod, which granted it might sound weird or whatever, I think there's a couple of jankiness things as mods tend to do. I just for some reason I just have that switch that is just permanently flipped off for Warno for me. So that
That's
in
fine. Yeah.
particular, but I genuinely think because of what you have going on in Broken Arrow with the uniqueness of what each and every platform can do, all these different things that all these different vehicles, whether they be on
Right.
the ground or in the air and infantry and your capabilities with those units, I think that is just a completely different world than Warno. So that's what I wanted to add on that in particular. I'm curious if
Yeah.
that makes you think differently.
I think the problem is I kind of compare it to a Discord. Okay, so people will get a big old Discord server going on. At some point, it's gonna fragment. Other people are gonna get their own Discord. They're gonna get their own Discord. Everyone has their own Discord going with their own special thing, and that is kind of what these mods will do. It'll just be small groups for each mod that are built up. Sure, that might be good, but I don't see any of them going mainstream unless it's something like a realism mod, like Rob's realism from
Mm-hmm.
Manowar Assault Squad 2. Like that was used everywhere. But certain specific changes, like making infantry better, most people will probably not like it, or vice versa with tanks. If they nerf them into the ground with a mod, most people won't like it. And I personally, I don't really care too much about player-made mods to the game. I like the scenarios more, which goes, I just like single player content. And it doesn't require me to coordinate with other people, like get them to download the same mod, get on the same version of it, and you'll have desync issues and whatever.
Oh yeah,
In Men of War Assault Squad 2, which is the best example of RTS with mods, it has always been general global mods. So realism mods or new nations being added, or 40k. Sure, that might actually become a big one if it is added in Broken Arrow and like refined fully um with its own special effects and audio and all that stuff. But I think small changes or small mods that tweak a couple units, how they move. I mean, I don't think those are gonna really survive for long. They'll be fun for a couple people, but the big ones are gonna be general mods, general changes. Hell, something as simple as freaking a mod that puts in Modern Warfare 2 music or something. Like it doesn't like it has to be something generic like that for it to become mainstream.
I
That's what I've noticed with all these mods in games that I've played.
I don't know how
Because if
much.
someone makes an infantry balancing mod, like I don't really care because most people
Yeah,
aren't gonna try it out, and I just want to play vanilla and just have that being adjusted to a certain extent that the majority likes doing it. And for mods, I would like either a complete overhaul, like complete overhaul, that turns it into a slightly different
exactly,
game, or it needs to be a scenario.
exactly,
Otherwise, I don't really care.
exactly. That was exactly what I was about to bring up. So what what I have in my brain when I go and say what I said is just complete overhauls. When it's if
Yeah.
it's like if they just kind of let the official servers go to shit, and then they have this ability for people to run their own servers and have their own communities that are their own modded stuff. I mean, look at Rust. Look at
Mhm.
Arma Reforger. Good friends with Clean. Clean runs WCS for Arma Reforger. Um, it is its own community. I think it was something like actually I don't think they want that data out there. Never mind. It's very successful. It's very good for the game, and it's not the game. It is their thing. It is their own way of it is a completely different modded experience. Completely. And that does nothing but really what's the word? Boost my confidence that the exact same thing can happen here. The exact same thing. It doesn't need to be everybody in the world. It needs to be, generally speaking, again, goddamn, I do say that a lot. It needs to be a community that takes their own take, that puts forward their own take on the game, that you can quickly and efficiently, because of the way that the modding system works and it being linked to the workshop the way that it is, just get what you need and jump into the game. If they were to set something like that up, if they were to put the effort into that, hell, they can put cheating on a back seat for now because it's as bad as it is already. Just let it not be the priority. Do what actually makes the game fun. Let the main servers go to shit. Let communities run their own server that are actually moderated by their own teams who love the game and are able to do their own things in the game, have their own take on it, and then have it be pushed by idiots like us over on YouTube or streaming. And that's all that it needs. That is all that it needs. You can see it with Rust. You can see it with Reforger. Hell, sometimes you can see it with Bannerlord. It is an extremely effective way of doing things that take effort off of the shoulders of the developers, which in this case is absolutely required because of the size of the team. I think it would be very beneficial. I think it would be something that they could do. What's our time looking like here? How many topics can we get into for you?
Let's do another. We can just go through the post that they've put out.
Yeah, that's what I've got a couple other things I wanted to talk about that we can bring up, but generally speaking, god damn it, I can't stop saying that. It's like
Generally
I'm trying
speaking,
to. I can't.
You gotta. I also have that problem, but now I try to just thesaurus my way through linker words. So generally speaking, in summary, in conclusion.
Okay.
Furthermore, in other words.
Yeah, I gotta just the point where I get to the j and generally
just
I gotta
make
like, don't even get to that
or
point.
one of those sticky notes to the side of your screen with like 7 words you can choose out of, and whenever you use one, just put like a dot next to it or something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I have 14 sticky notes from random ideas and random topics for Broken Arrow sitting there right now. Throw out 5 of them, and then just put a new one down with these kind of synonyms.
Yeah, I gotta do that. I also have a whiteboard on the other side of my room here, which has another dozen or so that I need to clean off because that's all old anyway. I got sticky notes everywhere. I gotta get on top of that. But anyway, we should get to the balance side of stuff. That's my take on that. As a solo queue aficionado, the surrender needed to happen. It absolutely needed to happen. There are absolutely portions of the community that when they go and play, it is a utter waste of time. As I said before, or as I agreed with before, it could be based off of NA people being shit. Pacific people being shit. I do have I play a lot of people with Chinese letters or whatever you call it in their name. There's a lot. So that could be part of it. NA people are asleep. EU people, middle of the night, they're probably not playing. So maybe the strength of this community is within mostly the hub is like EU, perhaps. That could be the reality. I guess
it makes sense, right?
Yeah. From my perspective, with 250 games I think I have now, utter waste of time in the solo queue. If this was not literally part of my job, if it was not part of my living, and honestly, if I wasn't, I'm just addicted to this game. I fucking love it. I'm addicted to it. I would not be playing this game. Even if I was addicted to it, but I had a full-time job, I could not justify playing this game in a solo queue. It is a absolute waste of time. It just is. It is. That is the
I've done a couple
reality.
I've done some early in the after release. They were hit or miss. They were either really fun or just god awful. Like I have a couple videos out even that were good. Now it leans more towards being good rather than bad, but it's maybe 60% good, 40% bad. You will just have levers. Yeah, you'll
You
be
got lucky. I'm
lucky. There'll
telling
be
you, man.
leavers. People don't really care. There's no communication. It's a bit rough.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man.
Um,
You got lucky. It's rough out there.
yeah.
It
So I
is.
usually just try to queue up. I mean, we got like 2 Discords where people play. Well, 3 or 4 if you count the one from Pies and Jack. So and there's usually enough people. So maybe also for people watching your content, they can just jump into all of these Discords.
Yeah.
Yours and mine, and just get teams going.
Yeah.
It's better.
I haven't even started mine up yet. I'm doing the coaching, so then once I have a
Mm.
handful of coaches, then we're going to start ours up, and it's going to be strictly the entire community plays the tag system, so that when people float, they understand that it's happening. Because
Yeah.
granted, I understand that the float method is obviously I'm never conceding that it's not powerful. It's extremely powerful, but there is absolutely no way for your teammate, especially in a solo queue, to understand that that is what you are doing. There is nothing for you to, so you can say that you're floating, but then what are you buying and how you need to be able to vocally communicate with that person in order to effectively do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it just looks like you're another random solo queue person that isn't buying units or doesn't know what they're doing. So within my community, after I have some coaches, after I have people that are going to be able to teach people how to play my way that I've developed, it is going to link together well enough so that we can bring people in, and once people understand what they're doing, and go from that. And I think it's also going to be the best way to be able to really showcase what I've found and how I play at scale with a full team instead of just me. So that's coming. Otherwise, solo queue is a waste of time. You needed surrender. You need to. You needed that at release. They fucked up. Now, turns out it doesn't actually matter when you leave the game. You still will get the leave penalty. So I actually don't know if that is going to be fixed within this. So if 3 of your teammates, hell, 1 person disconnects at the beginning of the game, 2 people leave because they're just like, fuck it. Maybe they don't actually understand based on the map that's actually an advantage because of your income. Maybe that's what happens. It's a 2-on-5. You, economically speaking, with that amount of time, cannot. It is physically impossible to win that game based off of strictly income, even with the bonuses that you get. And that is because when you lose those units, which you will, because you only have 2 people that are focusing, the respawn rate then comes into play, which is not increased. You only have so many units. Yeah, you only have so many units with that income. Your respawn, the speed at which you get those units back, is not going to increase. Even if they increase that number, perhaps, there's still road speed. There's still ground speed. There's still fire rate of those units once they get to that front line. So believe it or not, which you should because this is actually factual, if you're a 2-on-5, and, well, actually, I don't know what the actual timing of it would be if you are actually mid-game, but if there's a full game ahead of you, I'll put it this way. You cannot outspend more than 3 people as a solo. 3 people and up, you will lose.
Someone commented about this, and they said, what if instead of increasing the income of the smaller team, you decrease the income of the big team, like proportionally?
Ooh.
Like that would
I'm
kind of
curious about
solve
that.
it a bit, right?
Now you're sort of punishing people that had nothing to do with the issue, though.
Yeah. It's like they would take a 20% hit basically if you just divide it,
Yeah, you could do that, but again,
But I don't know.
I'm not saying that that's a bad idea because given
Yeah.
the circumstances, especially with the exploit, maybe.
Or just decrease the respawn timer. That could
Yeah.
be an easy one.
It's pretty telling that we had that happen literally on day 1. Like, people knew that was a thing on day 1. They still haven't fixed it. They just waited for it to get loud enough, which again is going back to Russian devs. Like, this is kind of like the general. God, I stopped it in that time, but you knew it was coming anyway. Their take on things are, it's fine. Like, it doesn't matter. It's fill in the blank. It's fine. It doesn't matter if the house is on fire. It's fine. We'll get to it. Like, that's kind of like the way that they go at things. And I 100% see that in what's happening here. So the way that they treat things like that, I don't put a date on it. Assume that it's not going to get fixed. So I would also, a part of like why I think that they should add modding is just don't rely on the developers that are already failing on several levels that are extremely important. Don't rely on them to fix the game when you can do it yourself. This scenario editor, and it might sound like I'm being negative to the developers. They've done a fucking fantastic job. I wouldn't be able to do this. You wouldn't be able to do this. Nobody we know would have been able to do this at the amount of time that it took. Dedicate it. This is a fantastic effort, and it's a generally God. It is a fantastic game. Like what they've been able to do. And props to them for that. It's got breaking points that can be alleviated if they let people, but it is their child. It is their business. It is their income. They need to make money when they release, a content patch or new nations, things like that. Which, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, rather, I don't know what their setup with that is going to be. So I don't know if they're going to make us pay for the U.S. Navy and the Russian support or whatever they end up doing with Russia. And then also we've got like the other theaters. I would imagine that when they add new theaters, they would make us pay. You know what I mean? Like when they add China.
I think maybe, yeah, for sure. I think that would be the case. New countries, maybe like a big pack of maps. Although maps might actually not be something.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to do maps. It would need to be something.
The same with nations, right? I mean, if you make them compatible to play against, if you don't have it yourself, just like in Wargame, I guess then it's fine. But maps are something universal.
God, we need to do this more often. We got so much to talk about. We're not even talking about specifically. We keep breaking off of what's actually in front of us, but it's fine. It's fine. Continue.
I need you to focus now, son.
Yes. Go ahead and continue. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What was I even saying? Yeah, anything universal needs to be free. Anything that is optional can be paid, such as nation packs or whatever. But I think everything they promised needs to be in the game for free, of course, for full price. And everything else that is broken and, partially fixed needs to be fully fixed before anything's added that you need to pay for.
Every consumer ever says that.
Yeah.
Every game dev ever hates you for it. That's not.
Hey, like I had this discussion in my comments, like, well, why is the game full price when not everything is in or shit's broken? It's like, okay, well, I buy a car. If it's half finished and I pay half the price, then whatever they add later will have to be paid, right? Even though the car might be roadworthy. I'm not going to drive around with 2 doors. Like, I don't care. And when they do add those doors, I have to pay for it. But people don't kind of realize that when you pay half price for a game that is not fully finished, whenever they do add paid DLCs, then people get pissed anyways. So I don't personally agree with people saying, why is it full price? Well, not everything is fixed or in the game.
I got to cut in.
But, yeah.
How badly do you need to get where you're going?
I think that was about it. I think for paid DLCs, I think
I mean because you're using the analogy of the car. So how badly does that person that wants to buy the car? How badly do they need it? You see what I'm saying?
How badly do they need it?
How badly do you need to get where you're going? Because that's something that people like. That is a good analogy. But like, what is your reason for buying that car? How badly do you need to get where you're going? Because if so, give me that thing with wheels and gas and an engine right now. Or I can wait.
Yeah.
But if that business is making those cars and the people just keep saying, we can wait, while also saying, I can't wait, and they are eating $5 meals, working 80-hour weeks, fixing all these bugs, doing it as a living, at what point does that break and be like, you know what? We can hire some more people. If we make a bit of money, we can hire some more people. We can live a little bit better, less anxiety, less stress, make it our pace, there's another word for it, but generally speaking, our pace will increase because of the money injection. I'm blanking on all my proper business words. It's been so long since I've held a job. It's been so long since I've held a real job doing this stuff.
Yeah, I kind of agree from a consumer perspective. Yes, it's not it's not in the state they wanted it to be. It is still
Yeah.
full price, but I also understand it from a company perspective.
Yeah, it's just a lot that
Because
people
further
don't keep
down
in
the
mind.
line, yeah, further down the line, it adds more issues to make the game half price now. You know, like then
Yes.
additional content will have to be
Yeah.
paid for, and most people will not then pay for it because they'll
When
be
it's
like,
in
"Well,
the
the game
state
isn't
that it's
done now."
in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like so it's like it's a circle. Well, the game isn't finished. Why should I pay for your DLC? Oh, the DLC is to finish the game, but the game isn't finished. Why should I pay? Like people will just keep going around in that circle.
Exactly. And it's the exact same thing that happened with fucking Tarkov. The
Yeah,
game got
true.
popular. People like to cheat. Okay, let's put all our best developers on cheat. No, because that's realistically what happens when you get cheated on.
Mm.
You say, fuck this, that's crazy. Why aren't you guys doing anything? In reality, maybe even half of their resources, if not more, are going to trying to solve the problem. But as long as one gets through, that player doesn't give a fuck. They just got cheated on. And they stop playing. So that's why it's almost like not worth fighting. I got in a back and forth on my Discord and in one of my comment section before with talking about it. They're just like, what, you would have them rather not do anything? Of course not. But you need to understand what this actually costs them. They are a small team. How many people and how many resources are they putting into something that they are going to be able to what's the word? They're going to be able to what's it called? Brain's not braining today. They're going to be able to stem. They're going to be able to you like cut a tree. That you like cut a tree to keep it in line.
Oh, prune. Yeah.
Prune. You're going to be able to prune things here and there. Tree's still going to grow. It's still going to take your shade. It's still going to take your shade. So the
pruning works even better to improve growth. You know.
Oh, is that so? Maybe I used the wrong. You're the scientist here. I don't know. What I'm saying is,
it's okay.
What I'm saying is, it's a sinking ship, and that maybe that's too negative of an analogy. It's a sink, but it's still like it's an analogy that I think will be able to represent what I'm trying to say here. It's a sinking ship. There's water coming in. You're using a cup. When you go and put that many resources forward, you are using the ship to create a bucket, but the hole got bigger. So you're able to bring more water out, but the hole got bigger because of the time that it's taking, because of the size of the team. So if you are able to use the cup and then tell the fat ass that's over there that's not helping to take turns. So now you can quickly take the cup, move water out, then you get to take a break, you get to do something else, you get to recoup your energy while the other person that wasn't helping before is now being able to help and move the water. So in theory, you're able to move, you're able to progress, and you end up being okay. But what people end up doing is, because it's such a bad issue, because with the cheating, oh, we need to solve this now. You're not going to solve that now. You need to moderate it. You need to do the best that you can, but the game still has issues. You still have a problem. Your boat is still sinking. You're not fixing the problem by removing the water. You're not patching the hole by removing the water. And maybe you're in a situation, which we are right now, that you can't patch the hole. What if you are able to create a bigger sail, or a sail in the first place, or another oar instead of the bucket? Hopefully I'm making some sense here. This is something that one of my mentors back in college was talking to me about. For those that don't know, if they didn't catch that episode, I used to work in games. I'm not like some kind of genius or whatever, but it's just like, I know that world. I know a lot about it. I held a few jobs with it. I've learned a lot through that stuff. It's been several years now because of Tarkov and all the YouTube stuff, but still. What are you missing out on in reality? It's stuff like that people forget about. And if you're impulsive, or maybe you're inexperienced with the size of the project, with the popularity that you had, with what actually matters, you can make mistakes. And am I saying that's what's happening? No, we don't actually know what their weekly conversations are. All I know is what I have experienced in the past and what I've understood with Tarkov, where they were a small team. They were having cheating issues. They throw all of the things that they possibly can at this cheating issue because so-and-so's making a YouTube video, so-and-so's making a YouTube video. Actually, before that, it was the netcode. So there wasn't even the cheating problem. It was the netcode, which was its own problem. Like they've had tons of hurdles. They've had tons of issues. So it's just like the community is overreacting, or just maybe reacting in general to a genuine problem. We must solve that problem. Do you? No, you need to finish the game. Make the game in its best state, get it out there, let them enjoy it, figure out what they could be missing, and then address the rest of the issues. Especially when you don't have so many resources.
Now,
go ahead.
I think what they got now with just one person on working on the cheat reports and whatever, I think that's good enough. They just need to indeed just work on the content, work on the balancing, work on these, the replay, the surrender vote, the whatever, like the scenario lobbies, the single player saving option. They need to just work on that. Because personally, if someone is cheating in the game, I just leave the match. Like, I'm not emotionally connected to my elo, Like, I don't care. I'll just try another one. Like, it's a game.
That's going to affect us, though. That is going to.
Yeah,
it seems like
it'll get affected because I don't have that much time. I'm playing with 4 other people. Some of them might be more passionate about the match, but it's like, hey guys, there's a cheater. Shall we just try to get a new one and just ignore this one? Like, that's kind of how I want to go for it until they fully fix it. But I guess we got to just focus on getting the fundamentals in there and then just work on the rough edges.
Yeah. We do need to do more of these episodes. There's so much that we can talk about. So continuing, we've got the things that we can just have a straight up conversation about here, which is the balance changes. Yep. So while you were having dinner there, was going back to my comments. I didn't realize the amount of people that don't understand the dynamic between APS and smoke, which you remember our conversation that we've had before. And you actually had the best explanation or title or whatever you want to call this to smoke, which is a get out of jail free card. APS is not a get out of jail free card. It is, you are shooting a bullet with a bullet that will then take time to reload. If a second bullet follows that first bullet, it will get through. So smoke is significantly more powerful than APS. Is APS useless? Absolutely not. It is very effective. It is very handy. It can save your ass a lot. It's very nice to have. Coincidentally, how many Russian units get APS, Bolt?
Everything with a wheel or tracks, pretty much.
No, Russian.
Oh, isn't it 4?
It's tanks, Kurgnets, T-15s. That's it.
Yeah.
Tanks, Kurgnets, and T-15. Some of the tanks. Very, 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 very few Russian units get APS.
Oh, you meant type of units? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. How many American units get APS? Practically all of them. Your first answer. Practically
Bradleys, tanks, Strikers, and Bookers.
Which happen to be the difference makers.
Even AA pieces.
Exactly. Every single real important vehicle, which means the best units in the game, because infantry are subhuman. They are literally the only humans in the game, but they are so just inefficient. They are so slow. They are so just not good. I consider them as not even part of the game. Anything with a gun literally can kill an infantry unit. So this is something I've brought that up on stream a couple of times. Whenever I mention something killing something, I don't even mean infantry. I only mean things with wheels and tracks, because it's just they are subhuman. They are not an issue. That's the way that I consider them. But basically, anything that you are going to find success with as the United States is going to have active protection. I just realized that, of course, the SF infantry and things are very powerful, but you guys know what I mean. I'm making some generalizations here. So when they reduce the efficiency of active protection, put all of those units just into the ether in front of you. Just close your eyes, whoever is listening to me right now, and actually visualize all of the units in the game that get APS. You've run out of space. That is the United States units, and they're covering the Russian units. You can't even see the Russian units. So when they nerf APS, that is a nerf to the US because of that setup. Do you disagree, Bolt?
Yeah, I would say one-to-one comparison in that with these things, yes, that would be a nerf
Yes.
for America.
Is it going to be significant? Depends on how inefficient they make it. They are going
Depends,
to
yeah.
reduce the active protection system's efficiency. As far as I'm concerned, it's 100% right now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 100%. I think I did kind of like it. I did like the idea of there being a slightly more RNG. Like, I don't like it being a guarantee. I don't like it being a get out of jail free card. But there will be things that pop up after this. One balancing causes an imbalance elsewhere. So,
How long has it been since the game's released?
how long has it been?
A
A
month
month?
and a half. A month and a half.
Yeah, a month and a half.
How
Dang.
many balance changes have they made?
Wasn't there just one kind of like
One.
more of a bug fix than a balance patch?
Exactly. When's
It
this
was
one
more
going
of
to
a
come
bug
out?
fix, yeah.
We don't have a date.
Probably mid-August.
Yeah. So how long are we going to be playing the game with it the way that it is when they decide to make the change that they're making? That is the real issue there.
Yeah.
Of course,
to put
there's
it, I
more
mean, to put
changes
it
coming.
bluntly, like Warno was a dumpster fire in the beginning.
Yeah.
Warno was a dumpster fire. It pushed a lot of people away, including you. Pushed a lot of people away. Then there was a massive balance patch that flipped it upside down, and everything that was underpowered was overpowered, and vice versa. Then it took another half year for it to become, in my opinion, a good game to play. So I don't hope they take as long, if not even longer than that. They need to really just go full, just make drastic changes and see what it does, by a factor of 2. Oh, this is 100% efficient, make it 50, see what happens, see what people like. Oh, they found it underpowered, okay, make it 75%.
Test server. They should have a fucking test server or something.
That would also do good, just get test servers going that everyone has access to with upcoming patch changes that are
Official
suggested.
mods.
Yeah.
Official variations of the game, call it.
Yeah, I mean, whatever they put in these patches, just make it in that version and people can just test it out.
Yep.
Or just you go to Steam, you go to the different version and put beta or whatever. You can go into skirmish and test out things. Or
well,
edit
with
or
the
whatever.
workshop, with how effective the workshop is, and they did do a great job with scenarios and things like that. Just go into workshop, you have that version of the game, you're good to go. And then they have it like maybe even be a separate section. They can filter it differently. Yeah. There's so many things that they can do. It's so many things.
So otherwise it'll take too long if they want to get a patch out and then wait for consumer feedback, for which they need a good enough population to really get any stats out of it.
Yeah, we got a couple more things to talk about. I'm worried about your time here. What are we looking at?
I mean, depends on what you want to talk about. Otherwise,
we'll just keep going.
I'm like scratching my neck to get a game and then go to the gym,
Okay. Generally speaking, this is pretty important. People definitely they want our opinions on this stuff. I know my guys do. Mm-hmm. And I did post a video on this earlier, but this is more of a longer form stuff, and also I'm reacting to some of the things that people were saying with that video, so it's going to be beneficial. Yeah. But anyway, so a nerf to APS is absolutely a nerf to the US. While, remember the conversation we had about the 2 smoke with the Russian units? The direct quote that I had the direct response that I had from one of the developers was, those Russian units get 2 smoke because of all the US units that get APS. So are they going to now be potentially adding, let's say, a couple? Can we get a couple of US units that get 2 smoke? When in reality, every single fucking one of those chassis have dozens of smokes launchers around them because, I don't know, it's the most effective and cheap way of concealing yourself on the battlefield in the 21st century. And we've been doing it since World War I. It's fucking bonkers, bro. I do not assume that there will be any US units that are now going to get 2 smoke. I would like to think, or maybe not, maybe this is the wrong way of putting it, but I'm pretty sure they know what they're doing. I'm pretty sure that the Russian developers and whoever's in charge of this balance knows what they're doing, and they want to keep it that way. I can't see it any other way. It's so obvious. When eventually, when people become, you don't need to become as addicted as I am, but eventually over time, you guys are going to see what I've seen with these units and know what actually matters. Like what really gets you there, what really gets you that ground, what makes you win those positions at the end of the round or at the end of the game. It's fucking smoke. It's APS. It's armor. It's specific infantry units. There's certain things that you absolutely need. And as the US, you absolutely needed that. You needed that active protection to be as efficient as it was. You just did. So I think that is a absolutely wrong decision to change APS in any capacity without also changing the amount of smoke for at least some of the vehicles. They need it. So next we have the reduction of damage to incendiary munitions. Did you pay much attention to the actual HE values of most of the rifles for SF and frontline infantry and in general for the Russian units?
Yeah, it's pretty high, man.
Yes.
Pretty high. Some
Yes.
units they are 50 points Agnomachikis.
2.5, up to 3 or 4
Yeah.
sometimes even.
Sometimes are 4, yeah.
The
It's quite
major actual balance point for the United States was the Green Beret with the flash. It did not matter what unit was in that building. If it was the strongest, if it was one of the Marine squads, if it was the, what's the name of the whatever, the airborne that has the 10-man squads, I forget what they're called, but you know what I'm talking about. Those guys, SSO.
US or
no, as Russia. It's the 10-man VDV squad. I forget. Are you in the game?
I got it.
Whatever
I'm
those
opening
guys
it up
are. It
now.
starts with a D. Those guys, heavy armor, 10-man squad. The Marine squad, heavy armor. No. The airborne, bro. The 10-man airborne infantry. That starts with a D.
See. With a D?
Yeah. Russian airborne.
Come on, game.
You guys know what I'm talking about. Whoever does know, they know. It doesn't matter if it's they're heavily.
That's on Nikki's.
Yeah, those guys. Two rounds will put them to half health if they're already hurt. It'll kill them. Any regular infantry squad size, 2 rounds will kill them. Any support team, 2 rounds will kill them from the flash. That was your difference maker. Otherwise, you are sitting there like in Wargame, like in Warno, watching tracers be fired from building to building. That is not fucking interesting. That is not cool. And it also is a nerf to the United States. But what the fuck are you talking about? Grads? And you get the Ognamachiki. Grads are fucking way overpowered. What do people use the grads for? They use them on buildings that infantry are in. Get the infantry out of the buildings and get them moving. Or don't leave them there in the first place. You've taken away the significant use of grads. Obviously, they'll still be powerful.
I think the grad has another fundamental issue with none of the tracers showing up.
Exactly. There's other problems. That's exactly what I was about to get to, actually. It
just blows up and you're already too late. Like, you can't move out.
You do not nerf an effect of damage in the game based off of a single unit. I guarantee that is what they are doing. Everybody's spamming grads. Nobody knows how to actually play. Everybody is complaining about grad incendiary munitions. So they are nerfing fire because of grads. And I hope they don't actually know. I hope they don't actually understand. I hope that they don't understand their game, and I hope they don't even understand the balance at this point. Otherwise, this is crazy. They don't know that the U.S. absolutely needs those Green Berets. Otherwise, you are not going to win infantry versus infantry fights unless you are completely outnumbered and you have fire support, which luckily you can get. The CEV is fucking fantastic. There's other ways to do it. Yes, but infantry v infantry, you needed fire as the United States. All the SSO, all the Marines, all the Sturmoviki, all that stuff. You needed fire as a difference maker. You needed it. And that's just a plain old fact. Tested it enough, played against enough people, you did. So people are spamming grads, so they decided to balance fire in the game. That's not what you fucking do. You balance the fucking grad. That is what you do. So annoying. Anyway,
just remove the grad, man. That thing pisses me off. I don't like napalm. The way it works now. I mean, that's just a rant of mine. You don't see it fire. You don't see the tracers. When it hits, it's already too late. Like, you can't counter it.
Too, yeah.
You can't move away.
Yeah, fix it.
Just fix the tracers, and I'd be fine with it being in the game. But otherwise,
so
no.
This is where we come at an impasse because I don't think I this isn't even. I think I'll put my foot down here. I know that people that play like you are putting yourself in a hole with the way that you use infantry. I know a much better and efficient way to play infantry. It's just that, obviously, I'm not going to get heated about it. If somebody wants to learn that way, they can. If somebody wants to just play the game like you guys play it and you're having fun doing what you're doing, nothing wrong with that. But knowing what I know, it literally, that is not an issue for me. So with the way that I play, all this is bad. That literally wasn't even a problem for me. Some dude 3 houses over fucking broke down some other dude's door. So now they're replaced. I don't know. Actually, where was I going with that? Some dude got in a car crash, 3 miles away. So they're going to take everybody's cars away. That's what's happening. It's like something that is completely doesn't affect me whatsoever, and I'm perfectly fine. And now it's making an effect significantly on the way that I do things. And it's simply because of people's understanding of the game. And going back to before, if anybody is thinking, they're just like, dude, not a big deal. They even said it themselves. They're going to make changes. How often did they make changes? When is this patch coming? When was the last patch? It's been it's been a month and a half. How often are they going to do these? Because if you're expecting them often, you're wrong. They're not going to do these often when the game's already in a bad state. So I don't know. It's just, if we keep going into details like this stuff, we'll be here for another 2 hours. But I've made my point. And that is actually a nerf to the United States. It genuinely is. The grad is powerful. It's only powerful when you know what to hit with it. And when you leave your infantry in buildings, which you shouldn't do anyway, because they are slow and they have very few ammunition. They have very little ammunition. They also respawn the quickest. So infantry are best used when you throw them to their deaths. Go get that information, use that information against them, and try to trade as effectively as possible. When you take ground with infantry, they literally have a nice little circle or box that is a perfect target for what they should light on fire or bomb. Don't leave your infantry in buildings. So they are making that change based off of that, which is not even an issue. People just don't know how to play. Various changes to make the Russian coastal troop specialization more attractive. How much time have you spent with the Russian coastal troops?
Not much at all.
That's blasphemy. First off,
yeah. I like armored, motorized, motomech. We usually have someone else going coastal for AA and
brother,
long range.
There is no better deck in the game in terms of efficiency.
Oh yeah.
Then
no, I just like the motorized units and the mechanized units.
If you go mech marine, you are utterly dominant. But it is it's an economy play. You are utterly dominant. The coastal marines, the actual marine squad, is brutal. You're in game, right?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, did you walk away for a sec? Are you good?
I'm good. I just picked my charger up. I'm in game.
Off the top of your head, how much pen and how much HE do you think the AT weapon for coastal marine gets?
It's like 900 for the top ones.
It's actually not. So that's the you're thinking of the, what are they called? That's the armored guys. The Gavardi. The Gavardi get that. The GRU get that. When you use the RPG-27 with the Marines, who also get, I think it's either 1 or 2 RPK, they get the HE values that are actually better than most of the SF that you get for the United States, period. HE values of their rifles and the 2 grenade launchers and the armor, because it's a Marine unit. Their 5 RPG-27s pen 650 millimeters of armor. Get 2 of those. They will kill any armored vehicle in the game. Have one of them sit there, have one of them start shooting, sprint the other one to either side. That's a dead Abrams. It doesn't matter if they have APS or not. Ideally, if you team it up with mechanized.
Yeah.
Shameless plug. My How to Russia video and more coming with the tag system. Sturmoviki in particular, they get the 2 RPGs with the HE rounds. Great against infantry. But also run APS out of units. So if you storm a location with Sturmoviki, it does not matter what is there. Don't try to obviously kill the vehicles before you kill the infantry. Have them try to kill the infantry, but pop a couple shots at those American vehicles that have APS. You're going to deplete their APS. Come in with the Marines. It doesn't matter what's left. The hurt infantry, if there's any left, and the hurt vehicles, or rather the full health vehicles but without APS, are not going to survive. I completely and utterly carried a game as the sole frontline player on the, is it Central Town? Point something? What's the name of that map? You know what I'm talking about? What's the
Central
one that,
Town Riga, probably?
or no, it's like
is it
literally,
Riga?
it's like Central something or Middle something.
Oh.
Um,
Let me see
Central
here.
Village, maybe? Is that a name of a map?
Play skirmish. Let me see here. Dead Center?
Maybe Dead Center. Is that the one where
Might
it's
be
like a
Dead
major
Center.
crossroads? It's like 6 roads come into one, and it's heavily urban in the middle there with the
Yeah.
skyscrapers.
Yeah, that's Dead
Yeah.
Center.
I fully carried, while at least 3 people on the other team, because that is the front line. That is where everybody tends to go.
Mm.
I'm going to be posting that game later. That's going to definitely be a tag system game. I named that deck specifically BMP3s with Marines in them, because that is the only thing that you need to do. Brought a couple of Tunguskas and stuff with me too, because my teammates were very good at killing that stuff. It didn't matter what the other team did. I'm going to have more. They're going to show up. They're going to get in close quarters, and they're going to kill whatever is there. Sturmoviki, throw them out there. Throw them out there. Get the information of what is actually there. If it's infantry, bring up the Omochiki. If it's anything else, Marines. Utter domination. But you need somebody to be able to take the ground because you get hurt really bad. And then again, if you're playing your infantry effectively, you just throw them away. You put them forward. Try and get as many of those rockets off as possible. And then you don't need to worry about resupplying them, and pay attention to what they spot. If they spot SAMs, SHORAD, or supply, eliminate it. Your effectiveness and your actual lethality of that unit that you just threw to its death just increased significantly. Because unless you had put it in that position in the first place, you wouldn't have gained the information that you gained. So that's infantry in a nutshell, something I'll talk about more. And it just so happens that the Russian coastal troops are the fucking best at it. So they're actually buffing something that is amazing just because people don't know to play it and don't know to do and don't know to use it. Another very weird thing. I'm extremely excited about it. I'm going to have a lot of fucking fun because it was already powerful. So that's going to be a ton of fun. In fact, my airborne Marine deck, where you can do whatever the fuck you want with the Russian air and the Russian helicopters. And then, oh, and by the way, you have a fantastic tank on the ground, which you can, by the way, get 6 of for some reason with the BVM. Amazing infantry. You don't have the longest range SAMs, but the S350 is fucking fantastic. You don't need to worry about SHORAD because the Biryusa can be fantastic as well. The Iglas can get the job done. So you don't get the Tunguskas, you don't get the Pantsiers, you don't get the Tors or any of that stuff. Biryusa is fine. Bring some man pads with you, or just throw everything to the death anyway, and then do what you can in the air. And the effect on the game is fucking insane. It is crazy. Various changes to rebalance. Anything that you want to add?
No, I'll just have to see what they do, how it changes the gameplay, and try it out.
Bro, you want to have some fun? Start messing around with mechanized marinas, Russia. Insane.
So mechanized coastal?
Yeah, I keep saying sorry. No. So mech marine is a lot of fun. It's mech coastal. So I don't know why, but it just does. If I say marine, it just doesn't translate. Like that's obviously Russian Marines, because I'm actually getting that a lot. I'll say airborne. Like I'll say Russian airborne, and people are like, you mean VDV? I'm like,
yeah,
of
I would
course,
just say VDV coastal.
Of course I do.
Yeah.
But I just can't bring that. I can't break that habit. I can't stop saying, generally speaking. But yeah, so mech coastal for Russia. Now here's the interesting thing as well. Mech airborne is also great because you get to do the chopper rush. So if you throw the choppers to their death while you're throwing the infantry and the BMP3s to their death, it's fucking nuts. But also that the actual VDV squad, the 5-man squad, gets 2 of the RPG-7s, which pen 500 millimeters of armor. So you get the Marines with their RPG, or rather, what am I saying? No, not the Marines, because you're not doing Marines. But you get the Sturmoviki, rather, that can run those things out of their APS, do very good damage against infantry in general. And then if you do a similar thing with the VDV, they more quickly kill that target, because 500 is probably good enough on the side armor and whatnot. And you get the helicopters and you get the planes, which, depending on the way that you want to set up those Russian helicopters and those Russian planes, are going to be dominant on their own. But on top of that, you also get the fucking, what's it called? The Typhoon with the 30 mil cannon on it that can carry 5. The Ognamachiki is a 4-man squad. The ones with the thermobarics, and if you want to use them in a better way, you use the fire launchers from Mech. So you can put the Ognamachiki and the VDV in those Typhoons that get a smoke and a 30 millimeter cannon. Run it up to the front line, smoke if you need to in order to make it. You can straight up bum rush, drop the troops off, and then keep going. The chaos that you create for that player on the other side is only matched by USSF. It is insane. And you don't get the smoke with the USSF for some fucking reason. Which, when you go and you look up any of those vehicles that you use, guess what you see on the fucking roofs? Lots of fucking smoke launchers. Of course. So yeah. Russian Marine is very good. I'm sorry, Russian Coastal is very good. And it is crazy that they need to... They feel the need to buff it so that people want to play it. Guys, people aren't playing Russia because they don't know the units. That's the reality. Like, almost all of the people that I have interested in my coaching program, what better way of putting this? Very few of them know Russian units, like actually know Russian units. So that was another layer that I had to go through, or another hurdle, because it's just people just don't know. If this is their first RTS game, they sure as shit don't know. So you just got to teach them what to use. And with that one in particular, they just didn't know what they were looking at. It's easy to understand Russian planes, so they go VDV. It's easy to understand Russian tanks, so they go armored. That's probably why those are almost certainly the most used. And then motorized, because they see that all of their buildings are on fire when they use infantry. They're like, what the fuck does that? Oh, it's the grad? Oh, it's motorized. So they go motorized. And everybody forgets about coastal troops, which is fucking fantastic if you just keep pushing the front line. Anywho, various changes to rebalance the interest of some over and underperforming units. Various changes. You play a bit of Tarkov. How familiar are you with that phrase there? Various.
So I need to know stats.
Yeah.
Like, what are you changing?
No, but exactly. That's just...
Like, are you changing the HP of AT, or infantry? I don't know.
That's just them adding something to the list to make it sound like they're doing more than they're actually doing.
It doesn't add anything. Like,
No.
You might as well say, yeah, I'm working on it.
Exactly. That is all that they tried. And that's another Russian thing. That is just like, I swear I'm working on it. Hey, we're doing stuff. We're busy, guys. It's fine.
Yeah.
That translates to, it's fine. We're working on it. The fixes, several autocannons, didn't have high enough shoot angles. I don't actually know what that, if they're fixing stuff, that's good. But I did actually want to bring up, vehicles stopped turning their chassis towards the enemy when using some of their weapons. There's many situations when you're trying to back up from a fight where you absolutely need to keep your front armor towards something that is shooting at you, but you do still have a threat on one of your other sides. So if you try to back up from a fight and then just try to engage something, it will then turn that to that thing. If that is what's happening, you don't want that. You don't. So yes, it's very situational, but at the same time, it's just like, did it need to be fixed? And maybe they're using the wrong verbiage there. It's possible. But I've seen loads of situations where I'm just like, why is that thing facing that way? That's so weird. And then also there's times when the AI will decide that even when I'm telling you to go a certain direction, it'll be like, so you want me to do a 180 and go that direction? No, motherfucker. I didn't tell you to reverse. And then, vice versa. If I tell it to reverse, it's like, oh, you want me to turn around? No, reverse. So it's just like little decisions like that when the differences between side and frontal armor is so significant is bonkers. So little changes like that. I wish that the control scheme, sometimes I wish you could do Men of War Assault Squad it sometimes, especially with helicopters. If you could just like full on first person control or third person control these things, that'd be fucking bonkers. Especially vehicles in some situations, because then you could just back up and you got the 57 that's just spreading from building to building instead of just like dut to the one Humvee that happened to be the first thing that you saw instead of the things behind it. I mean, how many times does that happen? It's fucking crazy. Generally speaking, god damn it. Almost made it to the end of the video. I am still optimistic about the game. They're doing something different here. They have a lot of problems. I think their inexperience in certain areas is showing. particularly with the popularity of the game and so many different talking heads, it's difficult to understand what you should and shouldn't listen to. So that is why it is extremely important to be able to gather a lot of data, which at the core of this post is exactly what they said. They're going to, well, actually, I'm not even highlighting. I went to highlight it on my screen. I missed it. Where are we? There we go. We are improving tools to collect and analyze data about players' behavior to help us make decisions about multiplayer balance, track cheaters, detect anomalies, etc. So, out of everything, even if it sounded like I was bitching about a lot of stuff, because there is some weird things here. They clearly don't know what they're talking about with some of these things. And they're also, I think they're making, what's the word? Impulsive decisions. As long as it's taking them. I still think it's impulsive to make the changes that they are making to some of these things. And I also think that they're showing their bias quite a bit with some of this stuff. But the Russian devs, they're gonna make sure that their nation can show up, because if it was realistic, the US would fucking dominate in the air, and then we wouldn't have a game. So we needed to be fun. Data is gonna help with that. I am confident they will never show any of that data, and any of the data that they do show is going to be, not very useful. Hey, this is the favorite map. This is the person's favorite. This is everybody's favorite deck. Congratulations. Why? What were they doing with it? What units are they using? Oh, well, that doesn't matter. Is it? Does it? Anyway. Any other things that you want to add? Anything else that you want to talk about from this post, or just in general?
I think the general things that they're adding is the only highlight right now, like the vote surrender, the penalty for leavers, the scenario lobbies, that kind of stuff. I think that's the main positive thing I'm getting out there. The rest is kind of like a just trust me, I'm the source kind of
Russia.
thing, because
that's Russian devs.
I just need stats. I just need numbers. I'm a scientist. I need, okay, how are you fixing it? Why are you doing that?
Soon TM.
Are you decreasing the HP of T80 BVM by 2? Like, I need to know those kind of things.
Yep.
So we'll see, I guess. And they might come up with a more specific patch log later, because even Eugen has done this. They've released a post like this, and then later they came with a specific patch.
Don't worry, man.
Or post with numbers.
Don't worry, man.
We'll see.
Yeah, they'll post that when the patch comes out. They'll post it when the patch comes out. Don't worry about it.
Probably.
I'm sure it won't be other various changes along with it. I'm sure they won't say various changes 4 times.
What I do hope is they keep periodic. They keep updating us on a periodic base. It can be either through Steam or Discord, but they need to stay in contact with the community. And hey, if you're not doing anything because everyone is on holiday, just say that too. Like, hey guys, you won't be hearing much from us. 80% of the team's on holiday because it's August. Bear with us. We'll be back on September 1st or whatever. Like, just put that out there so that people know. Even that would be nice,
If they are
we're all sick, we all got the flu, we won't be working for 2 weeks. Like, sure, just put it out there. Like, it's just open communication.
I've thought the same way for so long until you were actually on the other side of the fence, and especially if you're following, again, the Russian dev thing, man. This is what you would get. You'd get the soon TM. You'd get the we're working on it.
Yeah.
So at some point...
Basically nothing. If I get that, I'm okay, there's nothing.
You either get fully nothing, and then the last, hey, we're working on it, maybe holds a little bit more merit, or you hear, hey, we're working on it every other day. What makes more sense realistically? Because that is what's going to happen. Unless you end up having somebody that's like do you follow Beautiful Light? Do you know the game Beautiful Light?
Yeah, I know that.
Do you know that guy, the main dev or the lead dev? He streams like every fucking day.
I think I've watched it once or twice.
Yeah. Aries streams like every day. And you can go in there. Anybody can go in there and ask him, hey, what you working on? What's going on with this? And then if there's something in particular that he's waiting to reveal or something, he won't stream or he won't talk about it. But unless people go and do that, you're not going to know. You're not going to understand it, which also it's not interesting, so nobody's going to pay attention anyway. But that game's fucking awesome, even in its current state, and they're doing a lot of cool stuff with it. That is a guy who, even though they rarely talk about the game, they are working on it constantly, and they are doing cool things with it. And they're being very specific with it. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot of stuff that it's just, soon TM, we're working on it. So we'll see what happens. I got a lot more stuff coming. I am hitting every single detail of how-tos, tutorials, and then as well as my tag system. And I'm sure you're playing a bunch. Anything in particular you want to plug?
So far, I mean, I've just been playing, not making much or putting much focus on tutorials, but I'll soon be getting, probably this weekend I'll work on that again. I've been just crazy with work, so I didn't really have time for scripted stuff. But there'll be some more specific tutorials coming out. Not long form content like yours, like the long ones, but just specific things, but we'll see. Nothing yet. Just gameplay for now.
All right.
I ain't got time.
All right, well, without further ado, that was the long overdue episode of the Debrief podcast. As we mentioned at the beginning, we will do our best to keep this going. Our schedules are continuously difficult to line up correctly, but with the breaking news here, we figured that we would get our shit together for this one in particular. So stay tuned for potentially episodes where it's Bolt and somebody else, myself and somebody else, and whenever we can find
Just
the time.
nobody.
Yeah, just nobody. It's just gonna be blank silence. Just stay tuned for that as well. That'll be the New Year's episode. We'll just blanks, just snow. We'll just do a Christmas tree with snow. Let's do some Broken Arrow ornaments or something like that. Or just like I don't know, the battlefield, snowy battlefield background to fall asleep to. The debrief podcast. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being here. I almost forgot. Absolutely make sure to go follow Bolt. If you are watching on my channel, which is the Autistic Armchair General, which is where we are posting these normally, go into the description. Bolt posts a lot more gameplay than I do. So if you're interested in Broken Arrow, make sure you go follow this man, aka Saucy. I gotta make sure I say that more because I'll just call you Bolt and they'll be like, what the fuck is this? The Saucy link guy? What the fuck's going on here? AKA Bolt Sauce. He posts a lot more gameplay because pretty much all of my time these days are working on tutorials and other BS. So make sure to go follow Bolt. Link below. These get like a couple thousand views, which is bonkers to me, but we will do our best to keep this going no matter what it takes. So thank you again, and I hope you have a nice day. See you guys.